welcome to the beautiful Lazy E Arena here in Guthrie, Oklahoma.
Welcome to Under the Lazy E Lights. I'm your host, Haley Novak, and for 42 years, the Lazy E has been producing excellence, and this spring was no different. In fact, it was one for the history books with the new opening of the Equinety Center. Here's more.
The addition of the Equinety Center to Lazy E Arena makes it so special is because of all the possibilities that it creates. Just by the opening of the doors, it has created numerous possibilities for us that we would not have had otherwise. From the very beginning, the Equinety Center, the vision for it specifically, was to build enough event space, meeting space, trade show space, banquet space for our current events that are held here at Lazy E inside the arena, but to also attract new long-term events to come to Lazy E. Being able to expand not just the arena side of our events, but also additional events that we can do here at the Equinety Center, that will in turn impact in a positive way our local economies. If it's a new event that wants to come to Lazy E, to the arena, and of course also use the Equinety Center, they can go online to lazye.com for more information. And it doesn't even have to be a large event producer. We will gladly entertain individuals that want to come and have events here. Like previously mentioned, corporate group events, weddings, receptions, banquets of any size, we can host them right here at the Equinety Center.
With the growth of the Western world today, innovation is at the forefront, and Equinety is at the forefront of that innovation. John Dowdy joins me, the owner and founder of Equinety, and we appreciate you joining us and Under the Lights of Lazy E. John, what was that partnership like for you guys when you merged Equinety and Lazy E together?
You know, it was really exciting. So I've known Dan and Sammy for 3-4 years, and so it actually happened last year. You know, the slab was poured for the building, and the building was sitting in the parking lot for a while trying to get permitting and everything like that. And we were at the gathering, which is range horse sorting. Mm-hmm. We just finished the third year of that. But last year, we're in the back pasture, Dan and I sitting in a side-by-side, and I'm like, I'm going to mess with this guy. So I said to Dan, I said, hey, when's that Equinety Center going to be done? And he looked at me and goes, what did you just say? I said, the Equinety Center. And he starts laughing, and he goes, Mr. McKinney doesn't tattoo his buildings with other companies if you take a look around. And I said, all right. So we get through with the event. I get back home, it's about a month later, and I had to call Dan for something. And he goes, hey, what's going on? I said, yeah, I was just calling to check on that Equinety Center. And he starts laughing. He goes, well, funny you mentioned that. He goes, I was on a conference call this morning with Mr. McKinney and Monty. He goes, I threw it out there to see what kind of reaction I'd get. And Mr. McKinney goes, the Equinety Center. You know, I'm not really known for tattooing my buildings with companies' names, but I love that product, and so here we are.
All right, how many times out of 10 has that worked for you, where you almost put it into fruition by just jumping in there and saying, hey, this would be nice?
Well, you know what I found out through the years, one is building good relationships with people, and you know, we're fortunate to have a great product that works fast, it works well, and I think the combination of that and, you know, just looking for opportunities, and, you know, a lot of times they work, sometimes they don't, but you don't know if you don't ask.
So the opening of the Equinety Center was at the BFI this year, and yes, we had a very big welcoming gathering, a party, if you will. It was a very big success. What was it from your perspective?
It was a bit surreal, I would say. You know, it's very humbling to see Equinety in lots of places. A lot of people use it. They tell you your stories. And, you know, to have the Equinety Center come to fruition and see the big sign and lit up and seeing all the people and you know, Dan and Sammy, they should get all the credit for everything over there because all the manpower they put into that, just from the design and everything in there. It's just a gorgeous building, and you know, there's been several events now since the BFI, and we were just up last week at the gathering, and there were it was standing room only for the awards, and so who knows, we might have to move it into the larger section next year.
How many weeks out of the year are you at the Lazy E? I feel like you're always there these days.
It seems like it. Probably maybe 3 or 4 weeks, probably through the year.
So have you bought a house there yet?
Well, no, I'm getting pressured to do that, but I told Dan, I said, look, when this thing is all finished and I get relocated, I need an office and a golf simulator. And
That's crucial.
Yes.
For sure. So what benefits is it for Equinety to merge this partnership?
Well, I think when you look at the fabulous Lazy E, and you know, since the building has been completed, the number of organizations that are coming there for, you know, really long-term contracts, there's so much foot traffic there, and it's our perfect target market. And so, you know, the branding is obviously important, and the more times that people can see Equinety and hear about Equinety, and you know, at the end of the day, people just want the best thing for their horse, and I humbly would say that, you know, Equinety is one of the best things they could do for their horse.
And dogs.
And dogs, yes,
And
with
dogs.
our K10 product.
Yes, sir. What makes this venue unique? There are so many venues out there that host Western events, but I know this one's pretty special.
It is. You know, you go back to the number of events that the Lazy E has, and you know, a lot of times people come there for the whole week. They spend their vacation. That's their vacation time to spend there. And you look at the building, I might be wrong on this, I don't know of another company, especially not a supplement company, that has their name on a building that's specifically for, you know, ropings and vendors, and you know, an actual hall where they can have banquets and things like that. So it's set up perfectly for all those types of things.
All right, what's next for Equinety 2026? It's a big year.
It is, you know, and we're blowing and going just like everybody. I mean, it seems like there's no off season, and there's so many events to go to, and so many horses, and so yeah, we're just nose to the grindstone and keep trailblazing.
Well, thank you, John. I look forward to seeing you break trail other places. So congratulations
Absolutely.
on the new partnership.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
John Dowdy, the founder and owner of Equinety, here on Under the Lazy E Lights.
An arena in the heart of Oklahoma, set amidst the rolling hills of the Sooner State, calling those who live for the thrill and dare to chase fortune. This arena was built for cowboys and cowgirls seeking their shot at gold. But to win here, you have to go all in. Step into an epic youth showdown and announce you came here to win. To take your throne as the new world champion. It's win or go home. Come get your gold. The Cinch World Championship Junior Rodeo.
Welcome back to Under the Lazy E Lights. July is all about the youths in Oklahoma. In fact, Dale Yergin joins me to discuss the new opportunity. The WCJR and the IFYR are now back-to-back weekends. Tell us more, Dale.
Well, it's a great opportunity for youth rodeo to be able to come to Central Oklahoma and go to two not only high-paying but prestigious events back-to-back like this, and they're only about an hour away, so it's an easy drive from Guthrie to Shawnee, and we look forward to having everybody.
So we see it begins July 8th through 11th in Guthrie, and then they drive to Shawnee the 12th through the 17th. What made you guys embark on this partnership?
Well, as a lot of you know, the WCJR traditionally has happened a little later in July after the National High School Finals. And so with readjusting of calendars and some availability at Lazy E, we got together and discussed what a great opportunity to have them back to back. A lot of the kids went to both of them anyway, but they had to go to whether it was Gillette, Wyoming, or Rock Springs, or wherever the high school finals might be, and then come back, and so it made it a lot more convenient for those families and those athletes to just come right here to Central Oklahoma and spend a couple weeks here with us and have all this opportunity at big money and prestige titles of youth rodeo.
Dale, that's pretty convenient to spend 2 weeks and have your chance at almost $700,000. Do you know what the projected payout of the IFYR might be this year?
Well, we should be about 300,000 again, and that's cash payout as well as the saddles, buckles, and the other awards that are involved. So, but the cash payout should be right at or a little over 300,000.
Now, does the IFYR serve as a qualifier or pathway to any other major rodeos or big opportunities?
Yeah, there's a couple of opportunities. One of them's new this year. We're in conjunction again in one of the qualifiers for Oatberry's Junior NFR Steer Wrestling, and so the event itself is a qualifier. So all of the steer wrestlers that come here that join Oat's organization can gain points in his standings or leaderboard. But then this year, the winner, if they're part of Oat's organization, the champion at the IFYR, get an automatic bid to Vegas to the Junior NFR. And then the new event this year with the Iron Maiden edition of the timed event during the timed event championship at Guthrie next spring in March of 2027, we partnered with WCJR, National High School, and Little Britches to come together, and those four entities will be qualifiers for the Iron Maiden. And what a great opportunity for those young ladies. You know, the breakaway boom has gotten a lot of attention in rodeo, but, you know, in youth rodeo, it's been around. And these girls have been roping steers and tying goats and breakaway calves for decades. And it's just an awesome opportunity for them to get to go have a chance for the winner to win 20,000 next spring in Guthrie. We certainly wanted to get on board and partner with that venture as well.
The opportunities have been endless, and the IFYR has been at the forefront of youth rodeo for years. What has allowed the association to be such a sought-after event year after year?
Well, you know, when it started 35 or 6 years ago, I lose track what it's been. In the early 90s, youth rodeo looked a little different. The only places really back then was, you know, National High School's been around for a long time, and Little Britches has been around for a long time, and they gave an opportunity for people to come together all over the world, really, and come together and compete against the other athletes in their age group. But the IFYR was one that a little bit different. The National High School and Little Britches, you have to compete all year and earn points and qualify to go to those. The IFYR took a little different approach, where if you just fit in those age parameters and you think you're good enough and you want to go see how you measure up against the best in the world, you can just enter here, open entry, and come and compete. And it's really been, you know, I think if you look back through the list of champions and competitors here, it's really a who's who of rodeo at every level. Most of them came through here when they were in high school, if they started in the last 35 years.
Okay, Dale, you mentioned open entries. What's the entry fee?
So yeah, each discipline is $200 entry fee, and then they buy a youth permit to come and compete here. If they're an IPRA member or youth card member, they don't have to buy that additional permit. There's a $45 permit that they buy, which it covers them on participant insurance and all of that. And then, but the entry fees themselves are $200. Entries are open until 5 o'clock on June 15th through Next Gen Rodeo. So everybody get entered up. And I looked yesterday, we had a little over 400 contestants entered so far, but I looked for that to be somewhere between 800 and 1,000. So a lot of them wait till after their state high school finals to enter and stuff to see if they qualify for nationals and all those things. And so most of those are winding up. I think Texas starts this Saturday and finishes up the next Saturday. So get entered up by June 15th.
All righty, simple as that. Get entered up. Thank you so much, Dale Jurgen. It's been a pleasure getting to know a little bit more about these youth opportunities.
Thank you.
All right, we have more coming up here on Under the Lazy E Lights. Stick around and stay with us.
Mister, get me scared, told me so. La 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 la, turn it down on the radio. La 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 la, my full summer about scared. Mister.
Lazy E is the host of legendary events all across the Western industry. In fact, the BFI celebrated its 6th year. They're celebrating their 49th year in competition. It's such a legendary roping, and I'm having the pleasure of being joined by Cami Peterson, the co-owner of the BFI. And this year you guys had a record amount of teams. In fact, and some ropings, it lasted all through the night, over 3,000 teams this year. What was the impact like for you guys?
I just think seeing the year-over-year growth has just been incredible to see them keep coming out year after year. You think you can't beat this year, and then next year the growth happens again. So it's been exciting to see the response from moving it, 6 years ago to the Lazy E Arena. So the breakaway continues to stay strong with over 200 girls entered. The Junior Open it just blew up. And then obviously we keep the Feist at 100, around that 100 team, so we see the best of the best in the world, but our lower numbers have really grown. And our businessman's roping's a real good roping, and our ultra roping just continues to see year after year growth.
Yes, no matter what division they're in, they have a really good chance, and it's so exclusive and very prestigious. I know next year is a really big year for you guys. What can we expect for the future?
Well, next year is our 50th anniversary, and big plans. That's a big milestone for any team roping division. Bob Feist had 50 years ago. Who would have thought his legacy would have lived on this long? And just seeing the youth, going back to the junior event, the youth has really exploded of understanding then the history, because they're there witnessing it. They see how tough the setup is. They get a rope in the iconic Lazy E Arena. So for the 50th, we're hoping to bring the past champions to the event and really celebrate the history, the legacy that Bob built.
What I love about that, you mentioned the youth. Tyler Tryon, who won the Feist this year, he in fact had been to this event so many times with his dad, Clay, and he was a part of those youth ropings. What is it like for you to have such an impact on that generation?
I mean, it's fun to talk to the parents that's hauling their kids all the way from California, South Dakota. It's a tough setup, and some of the feedback that we got from the parents, especially California, there's a lot of kids that don't get to compete in that sort of setup where it's a true competitive environment, and it really lets you determine whether you belong in a tough arena or not. So it really gauges for the next generation. 3 years ago, we had quite a few pre-entries. I thought, this is going to be a great event. And by the time the entries on site, we went that year, I think, till 2 or 3 in the morning. That's why we had to take it to 2 days just to accommodate for that growth. But last year we saw 2 kids from South Dakota take home $100,000. This year, same thing. We paid out almost $650,000 just in the youth 2 divisions. So just to see the kids embrace the Feist and the legacy that, a lot of people, they didn't know about it because, they're in high school and junior high. So, a lot of these guys who's competing in the Feist right now grew up watching it on VHS tapes and saw the history. So we're able to keep the legacy alive through our junior division. And so they see how competitive it is. And just to pay out that kind of money and the prize line too, that they get the prize line just like the big boys get.
You mentioned the payout in the youth, but it goes across all of the ropings. In fact, we had $2 million Tuesday. We tried to make it $3 million Wednesday. It just seemed like it grew and grew as the days kept on going. But how important is that for you guys to create that payout for guys that don't experience that? Because it's hard to do at ropings.
Well, and to be able to rope against not 800 teams, but to have that kind of money, and you're just roping against 200 or 300 teams, and it's just life-changing money. I saw friends from Colorado come and compete, and they said, I've never won this kind of money, and yet they've been roping their whole entire life, in one place. It's just the payout alone. It's just, you were there and you were interviewing the people. There was, people that couldn't even speak during the interview because it was so meaningful to them to walk away with that kind of money.
They couldn't speak, but they could dance. We saw the worm being done a few times in the Lazy E because of the money.
Kelly Chili.
Yes, there's his infamous move that he did. It was the first time I got to see it. I was very impressed. I don't think that I could do it personally, but
I think we got a couple million views off of that one on social media.
so.
Yeah.
We need to have a contest next year. But not only is the roping prestigious, but the venue that you guys are holding it in, the Lazy E, is very prestigious as well. Of course, the Ironman, the cinch timed event is in there.
Right.
The BFI is in there. I mean, that venue is just holds so much weight regarding the history of rodeo.
You're exactly right. I mean, you just go back and if you look at some of the videos and some of the history you saw of the building of the Lazy E. So when COVID shut down Reno Rodeo, unfortunately in 2020, we had a lot of the cowboys reach out to us and they really said, we need to make money. This is how we make our living. And Texas and Oklahoma was still open. So we started researching different venues. Venues had reached out to us and we visited the Lazy E Arena with Dan Wall and my friend Sammy Miller and Mr. McKinney. They were the ones instrumental for us to come there because it was like you were coming home. You know, the BFI, even Bob Feist said one time, the Feist he always felt belonged at the Lazy E with that long score line, hard running cattle. It's a massive arena. And even the kids that come and rope there, even though there's a lot of other events there for youth, they always said when they walked into that arena, it was just iconic. So it really matched our brand well. So we were very happy with Mr. McKinney, Micah, and Dan and Sammy. They become friends to us.
Well, thank you so much, Cammie. It's been a pleasure visiting with you. I look forward to seeing what the Feist brings next year and the innovation that you guys continue to do for the Western industry.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Cammie Peterson with BFI on Under the Lazy E Lights. It's been a pleasure.
Family, quality, integrity. These are the values that our horse program is built on, and why Reliance Ranches is a name people can trust. It's how we produce truly great quarter horses, horses that are incredibly athletic, fast, smart and easy to train. Horses who have a tremendous desire to perform at the highest level. Horses that can be found in the winner's circle. Reliance Ranches bred horses are making their mark on the racetrack and in the performance horse world. Experience the difference. Ride the Reliance Ranches brand.
From one historical event to the next, the Lazy E is the host of many competitors from all ages. In fact, I'm bringing in Gary Hawks, the VP of Marketing for the National Junior High Finals. And Gary, whenever you guys come to the Lazy E, you're bringing a lot of students with you. How many numbers can we expect?
Yeah, we're super excited to be jumping at the Lazy E this year. We're bringing in about 1,300 contestants as entries have been rolling in. I think we actually had to order more back numbers, which is kind of a great sign to see that the Lazy E is going to be able to host us at that capacity. And that's 1,300 of the finest competitors. You know, our total junior high membership is around 4,500, and those kids are going to be coming from all over to compete at this great location.
What are the age divisions of these kids?
Yeah, so you're going to see fifth graders to eighth graders competing. We've had a few fifth grade world champions, so it just proves that they're just as competitive as that older end, you know, in the eighth grade. They're coming in. They have a chance to win world championship titles, all-around titles, in 18 different events. So it'll be a jam-packed week for sure in the arena with 2 competition arenas running side by side.
You mentioned the chance at world championships. How do the National Junior High Finals prepare kids for high school and further competitions?
Yeah, I think the junior high finals is a great stepping stone for these kids to get that competitive edge as they start going off into the pro ranks, the high school ranks, college ranks for sure. And I think it spans outside of rodeo too. You know, we're really, with all our scholarships and prize money and everything, we're setting these kids up for success outside of the arena as well. And outside of the rodeo arena, we've seen kids go on to do the cutting and the NRCHA. Those are 2 great partners we have on the high school level as well too. So it's a huge array of discipline from all the different events.
With a world-class event, you need a world-class facility. What made you choose the Lazy E?
We got approached a couple of years ago, and kind of our board's biggest vision that we've been shooting for is a clean, even competition across the ground. So being able to provide an indoor facility that can house everything in one location is huge. And that's kind of what set the bar for us with the Lazy E. They have such a great history of pinnacle events all across the industry. So why not just add 2 more youth events to it?
Yeah, why not just go ahead and add to the competition level? Congratulations on that acquisition there. What have you been so much proud of for 2026?
I think what's been awesome, obviously, is kind of finding a home for junior high. And as you guys kind of talked about a little bit as well, and we're grateful for Dan speaking on it, is our partnership with high school as well. So that's been a huge thing to bring both of our events there and kind of create a steady home for sponsors and the contestants and just a general atmosphere for youth rodeo right there.
All right, how can fans watch at home?
We will be live on the Cowboy Plus. We have 2 performances daily that'll start Sunday, June 21st. It'll start Sunday, June 21st at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then we'll have 2 performances daily, 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. And then our championship short go is 7 p.m. on Saturday night.
You guys keep the performances rolling and the competition hot. Thank you for joining me today on Under the Lazy E Lights.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we've got a busy summer ahead at the Lazy E. The schedule is looking packed already, and it's just June. We kick things off June 5th through the 7th for the All-Star Team Roping, then move on to the National Junior High School Finals, the 21st through the 22nd. And the youth events aren't over. We go to the Guthrie Championship Team Roping, brought to you by Jeff Smith and 3 Point Productions. And then the Junior World Championship Rodeo, the WC, JR and CN Productions, July 8th through the 11th in 2026. Thank you for watching Under the Lazy E Lights. I'm Haley Novak. We'll see you next time.
You're looking at the Lazy E Arena in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you the next time we all get together. Goodbye, everybody.